Well, good morning to you, and how are you on this beautiful day? This doesn't sound like a song so far, but hey, what do you know anyway? It's a love morning song made up on the spot, and I hope you get out of this a lot. Good morning now, love morning now, love morning now. Good morning, welcome to Love Morning. This is a daily practice of gratitude and connection. I'm really feeling inspired to stay the course with these love mornings and with just like generally everything that I'm doing in the world with regards to love ambassadorship. So thank you for being a fellow love ambassador, and I apologize for recruiting you non-consensually and giving you the title of love ambassador. But this week has been really wild for me in terms of I had a video go viral. You may have seen that one where I said, when people call me weird, I say, thank you for noticing. I work so hard at it. And it hit 1 million views yesterday. Wow. And the thing that has, the two things that have really like anchored to me in that experience is one, the negative comments are such a clear example and reminder that there is a conformist pressure that people unknowingly are acting as agents of conformity and trying to knock you down, push you down, keep you in line, judge you and make you feel bad for being different or unique or radically self-expressing in any way. So the negativity is real. And the other one is that the fact that it resonated and it struck a nerve with so many people is like, yes, there's so many people out there that are just kind of hungry for knowing that they're not alone and knowing that they don't want to be embarrassed or ashamed or discouraged from being genuine and authentic and creative. And so that those two things are true. And knowing those two things means that this concept of being a love ambassador, this concept of knowing that you can be an activist in the world simply by being yourself and being courageously you in a world that is trying to get you to stay in a box, that's a purposeful life. And so this week has really been a confirmation of that. I had a thought that, a common criticism that I've been getting is that I'm attention seeking, there's some truth to that. But what I'm yelling is not just, look at me. I'm also saying, join me and you're not alone. And you know what, if we have to take the blows of a few hundred people saying, you're too old to be doing that. You need attention. Who didn't love you as a child? You need professional help. Like, guess what you sound like? You sound like you have issues. Why? What inside you, when you saw 11 seconds of this, made you go, I need to stop what I'm doing and let this person know that they bother me. So welcome. If you're here, say hello. Let me know what you're grateful for. We will share it with the group. We have people here joining us from Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. I saw Pierre here. Pierre, I believe, said he's grateful for gratitude. I missed that. So Lamantra is saying that my home is beautiful. Thank you. I've learned that if I fill my home with plants, it's beautiful. I'm a lover of plants. I have no dogs, no cats, and many, many plants. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Jess. If you were here yesterday, I have to apologize. I misled you. I didn't mean to lie. My intention, I went to a theme party last night, and I was going to, it was a deities, gods and gods theme, and I was going to attend as Lord Ken, god of patriarchy, which only makes sense if you've seen the Barbie movie. And I thought that was so clever, but as I told a few people, I didn't get the response that I thought I would, so I kind of chickened out last minute. And instead, I went as a god of spring. And so I had like silk flowers that I attached all over me. And maybe, I don't even, I got a picture. I may have had a picture. Well, I'll share. And it was super fun. Got to see a bunch of people. I did, I'm still in this chapter of my life where I'm adjusting to new patterns and new habits. So it was a event that normally I would be quite in a party mode, quite intoxicated, and I was sober. And I'm not yet to that point where I can attend something where I used to be intoxicated, do it sober, and just be like, hey, this is so much better. There's still a bunch of my thoughts that are like missing the old way that I did it, not quite knowing the new way to do it. So I got to have lots. What I realized, and let me see if I can just talk this through. The thing that my way of being in a party setting is different when I don't have chemicals to keep me in flow. But what I do end up having wonderful experiences with is one-on-one conversations. And so I think what I need to do in the future is remember that, and instead of waiting for people to talk to me, I used to let the chemicals kind of keep me moving and talking to people. So without that, I kind of am stationary. And I think what I need to integrate is a more active reaching out to people, finding someone, pulling them aside and saying, hey, can we chat for a few minutes? Because when I did have one-on-one chats with people, I so enjoyed that. So I'm still learning. I'm still adjusting. I am 7 months of sobriety, of the sobriety that I have committed to, which is not a 100% sobriety. It is a sobriety of certain chemicals that became problematic. So, yeah, it was similar to my Burning Man experience where there was the memories of how I used to do things is still so strong that I'm not quite adjusted to the way I'm doing things, if that makes any sense. Good morning! Hello, Faith. Thank you for the hair compliments, and hello to you in Florida. Faith is thankful for time with Harrison, her son. Lovely. Good evening, Petal in Australia. Good morning, Vesper. Melissa says, me too. It's a new noticing. Yes. Good morning, Melissa. Good morning, Maria. Wow, we got Maria in Barcelona and Pierre in Amsterdam. I am in San Diego, California. Melissa is grateful for sunshine this morning. Vesper says, I feel that sobriety is a little more challenging to get integrated in social settings, but the connections are deeper and more meaningful. Some friends hosted a mini decom for our camps and close friends, and it was wonderful. I had some really great connections with dynamic and motivated people. Hey, T-Dog, good morning. Melissa's in Monterey. Yay. I'm slowly becoming more and more enamored with that part of the world, Big Sur and Monterey. Petal says, it's spring here and I have been literally rolling around in flowers. Yay. Deadly Ideas in Turkey, where it's evening. Turkey is my favorite traveling I've ever done was Turkey. When I was in college, I spent 2 months in Turkey, and it was amazing. It was life-changing. I absolutely love Turkey. I'd like to return. Good morning, Al. Hello to you in Chicago. Yeah, I think what I want to continue to doing the events that I used to do and trying to do them in a new way, and maybe I need to like create new events because I would like. There's something about when other people are partying and I'm choosing not to that's more difficult, I think, than like if everyone like if I had a brunch at a park, maybe I should start hosting brunches in the park and invite people to come for a sober gathering. Bring your kids kind of thing. And I think that would be, I wouldn't have the same feeling of like, I mean, I wish I I wouldn't be comparing it to my experience when I used to be intoxicated. Maria is grateful for resting and doing nothing since my first day of mooning. At first I meant that meant you pulling your pants down, but I know what you mean now. Mooning also means showing your butt to people from where I'm from, but I understand what you're saying. So grateful for my healing tools that help me turn darkness into light and love. So beautiful. Thank you, Maria. Maria says, also grateful for future new connections. I'm grateful for the opportunity that I have I do podcasts with some dear friends. I have two podcasts that I do. One is Stay Sparked, which is like personal growth stuff with Giannis and Betsy. The latest episode is about insecurities. And then I also do Hard on the 80s with my brother and Shonda, where we watch 80s movies and kind of see how well they hold up and talk about the things that, sometimes the funny things, sometimes the serious things that they bring up in us remembering the 80s experiences. And Faithy Pie says, what is mooning other than showing your butt? Being on moon time, period, having menstruation. And so yesterday we reviewed the movie The Breakfast Club. And I was afraid to review The Breakfast Club on our program because often we watch a movie and I forget, or I never realized how icky it was and how cringy it was. Like we watched 16 Candles and oh my gosh, there's some just horrible stuff in that movie. So I didn't want to do this to Breakfast Club because it meant so much to me and it's such an important movie and I watched it so many times and it was, I'm like, I don't want to lose my connection to it of it being a beautiful memory. I mean, Simple Minds became my favorite band after I, heard the opening credits of that movie. And I was about junior high when it came out. And so in rewatching it, I was pleasantly surprised that a lot of it is still great. That being said, the John Bender character, I remember watching it and he's very forward and confident and sexually, his sexual come-ons are a little over the top and it was humorous. In watching it now, he is straight up sexual harassment, like overt crossing the line. And so that was a little hard to be like, oh God. I mean, the first thing he says to the other students is, let's get the prom queen impregnated. Like, basically a gang rape joke. However, the rest of this movie, and I understand why it meant so much to me, is that it starts off with these seemingly two-dimensional characters, the jock, the weirdo, the prom queen, the stoner, and it does a great job of like showing like the car that they arrived in, what their parents are like, what their clothes are like, what their food is like. So it's like you're totally like putting them in a box. And then as you start to hear their stories, you realize each one of them is the product of their environment, of their trauma, of their upbringing. And I love this idea of of expanding our awareness of any human being to include their history, their trauma, their triggers. Every one of the people in this movie is doing the best they can with what they got. And there's a time in the movie when the weirdo says, "We have no choice but to become like our parents," and it's said with tears and like. And I think that's really interesting because I don't think that's the same cultural thoughts today. I think today there's so much progress in terms of therapy and trauma work that I think the general thought today is we're here to do the work on ourselves to heal our ancestral wounds so that we don't repeat the patterns of our past. And so as I'm watching this movie and recognizing that this was kind of a significant film because it did go from two-dimensional characters to three-dimensional characters with trauma and backstories. And then I think the today version of The Breakfast Club includes them growing up and taking the steps to heal themselves and raise kids that are free from those past traumas and of course have new traumas. But yeah, I thought it was a really, I still think it's a great film as long as you have the awareness that yes, John Bender is, his behavior is unacceptable. So good morning, good day, happy Hug Nation Love Morning to you. If you've got something that you're grateful for, please share. We'll do a hug in a moment and go off into our day. A part of this day is to share gratitude, a part of this practice, and the other part is to just remember that we're not alone, that we're surrounded by like-minded, open-hearted people, and in a world that has too many voices trying to discourage us from shining bright, from being who we are, that there's a real significant activism and purpose in doing so and encouraging others to do the same. And by saying to, I think, as I've been thinking about the responses to that viral video and the practice of this love morning, that there's these I guess there's three paths of actions that we can take. One is overtly being kind. I think our world discourages us from being too kind. It's easy to be vulnerable if you're overly kind, sadly. The second is being creative and authentic and being radically self-expressed, whatever that looks like. That doesn't mean intentionally being weird. It means intentionally being whatever it is that you want to be. And then the third is being supportive of everyone else that is showing courage in doing those two things. So if you don't know like who you are, and you can still be kind to people, you can still support others. And then as you have these impulses and instincts of expressing your truth in your words and your actions and your appearance and your choices, do that. Even when there are voices and people and cultural things that are telling you, what are you doing? Like, looking through the comments of this thing that I just did that went viral, it's like, you're too old to be doing that. How sad. You need help. It's like, you realize that you're probably 16 years old and you are just subconsciously acting as an enforcer of the status quo. You've been trained to see the flowers that grow too brightly or different colors or above the hedges, and you were trained to knock them down, knock them down, knock them down. So knowing that, hopefully we can be kinder and more supportive to one another. It doesn't mean that you say, oh, that's my favorite flower, I love that flower. You just say, bravo for being a flower that is quite different than the other flowers. Yeah, good for you. Yeah, keep shining. Good morning, Joyous. Good morning, Jay Firefly. Good morning, Dave. Jess is grateful for weekend sleep-ins, the freedom to relax and do nothing, and cozy fall vibes. Lovely. Dave says, who's in the UK. We're rounding up many countries this morning. So Breakfast Club was important for me back in the day. I yearned for some kind of interesting experience instead of my mundane life at the time when I was a youth. Just says, amen to healing generational trauma. Good morning, Mingle. I love you too. And Robin is here. Good morning, Robin. I love you, Robin. Chris is grateful for keyboards. I've been using caution keys and it's been great. And hearing your truth is easier because of it. I love online spaces. Joyce is grateful for connections made online that truly turn into the most meaningful relationships. Thank you, online loves. Nice. What a joyous... Interesting how... I've been noticing lately how as I read things, those words pop into my head. Like I will read a comment thread, and then as I go to comment, I will say fantastic, and I'm like, wait, did I just read someone else say the word fantastic? And I did. So I think that just happened with joyous. But it is a joyous experience to start the day with you. And to, even though I am solitary in this dwelling, I am in a communal experience of starting this day with the knowledge of community and like-minded, open-hearted people out there. So thank you. Thank you, thank you. Any last gratitudes or feelings about the movie Breakfast Club? Or questions about my viral video that hit 1 million views yesterday? What can I tell you about it? I've got like 3,000 new followers from it on Instagram, which is interesting. Like, so 1 million people watched it, and of those 1 million, 3,000 of them, I don't know what percentage that is, said, yeah, I'd like to see more from this guy. That seems like that's a lot of work to get some new people. I feel like the comments are starting to get a little bit more negative. Over the first days, they were mostly positive, almost all, like 98% positive, and now it's more 50-50, positive and negative. The viral video is on Instagram. Let's see if I can, here it is. I will share it. Although, if you're on Instagram, I can't give you a link, but it's the one where I talk about being weird. And one of the other coolest things about it was as it's become, as more and more people started viewing it, and it started trending, people started using the audio and remixing it. So I get to see other people, like 200 people so far, have mouthed my words. So it's such a trip to just click next, and see all these people in different men, women, old, young, pink hair, no hair, saying my words. It's been a real interesting experience. Something I've not experienced before in the 25 years that I've been sharing content online. Very cool. Robin is grateful for Emily gifting her a trike to ride safely at the burn, and for Carpo bringing it to San Diego for me to pick it up. Awesome. If you don't have Instagram, it's also, I think you can still watch it if you don't have Instagram, or it's also on my YouTube. Or you can always send me a message and go, what was the link? And I'd be happy to send it to you. Well, we are coming to the close of our morning broadcast, our Love Morning, which is every day at 9 o'clock Pacific time. And we gather for 20, 30 minutes to start the day with a feeling of connection and community, and to remind ourselves that we have the opportunity to be love ambassadors as we go through the world, and to try to summon the courage to say hello and good morning, to be a little more focused on connection and kindness than maybe our instincts pressure. And when I say our, I know not everybody is the same. I know some people are just super outgoing. I am continually working on aspects of social anxiety, and so it takes me a little bit of summoning the part of me that thrives in connection. And I have to kind of pull it out from underneath the protective layers as I go through the world. And this practice is the way that I find helpful to do that. So thank you, fellow love ambassador. All right. Well, let's close up with a hug. So wherever you are, give yourself a big squeeze and squeeze your body. And as you're squeezing yourself, be squeezing everyone who is here and has been here and has been sharing this energy of connection and kindness and authenticity and radical self-expression. And know that we are all supporting you as you pursue those paths, as you support us, as we take a deep breath in and squeeze one another. Hold it. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and you beautiful ambassadors of love, thanks for being here for this love morning. Have a beautiful day. And if you have any interest in joining for a gratitude circle, we'll be here at noon and 6 p.m. at zoom.hugnation.com. I had a thought this morning as I was wondering how nice it would be to see people's faces. I wonder if I should just do this also while I'm doing this, just have a Zoom room open. So if you're here live, you could pop in, and if your webcam's on, I could see your faces. Just a thought. Have a beautiful day, Melissa and Jess and Robin and Dave and Al and, oh, hi, Al, and Petal and anyone else who might still be here, as well as Joyous and Jay Firefly and Maria and Faith and Chris and Pierre, and hello, Pappy in Portugal, and to you as well, and hello, the Llama Goddess in Arizona. Grateful for you, Pierre, and everyone else. Thanks for being here. I love you. Happy Sunday.